Area of a circle. We've talked about areas before. What is that thing you have to add to the end of a symbol when you're working with area? Press?
Square.
Perfect. Yeah, you can either write the word square, you can write SQ, you can write the little number 2 on top. I like the little number 2 on top because I think it's cute. So just remember, it has to be squared at the end. A lot of you gotten better, I'm gonna say, because it used to be like half of you never put the square. Now we're down to like maybe a quarter of you, less than a quarter of you not putting the square. So you guys are improving. But labels do matter a lot, so make sure you include the square on your answers. And all your answers today should have a square. Capiche? All right. Now we are. Where did I put my clicker thing? Anyone see a clicker thing?
No, that's the pencil.
Anyone see a clicker? Where did I set it down somewhere?
In the back. Oh,
It's on the podium. Why is it on
it's on a car.
Chrome card thing? Oh, everyone, take a deep breath. Let it out. That is the easiest way to calm yourself down, to get your head straight. I say if you're in any situation where you feel confused, frustrated, or stressed, take a deep breath in, let it out. That is the easiest and simplest way. I do it at least twice a day. With some of you, make some of the situations and stuff, so I'm going to do a lot more. But it's the best way to calm yourself down, and it's super easy, right? Because all you need to do is breathe. Anyway, area of a circle. The I can stand for today is I can determine the area of a circle. Say it with me. I can determine the area of a circle. So, like Perez said, your labels are going to be square because we're talking about like the inside. So if I said find the area of this classroom, you would go around and count each individual tile square you see. Because that's what it's talking about, each one of these tiles. Like I said, you only have one example for today. Should be a fairly quick lesson. Oh, sorry, before I forget, I'm going to put them, I'll just have to remember it. You got A, B, and C. Right now, I want you to copy A, B, and C in your notes. Fair, Aaron?
The letter or the circle?
Everything you see for A, B, and C. So A, circle, what's inside the circle, and what's below it. B, circle, what's inside the circle, below the circle. C, what's in the circle, what's below. I just need you to copy everything from that. Drawn? This is the notes. This is all you're doing today. This is all we're going to be talking about. And I think you have 5 questions on your exit ticket today. Wait, never mind. You only have 3 questions today, it looks like. On your exit ticket, you got your homework. Make sure your voices are off so you don't get the even. But yes, I'm going to stop talking and let you guys write that down. Remember, your circles don't have to be perfect. The most important part is the information. Circles don't gotta be perfect. Just make sure they're not a square. Make sure you leave some room either to the left, right, underneath it, to take down the notes that's going to pop up right below it. Very important. And we might do some extra in class just to go through and make sure you guys understand, because there's only 3 questions. You get 1 wrong, that's bad. That's the downfall of having such short questions. We're almost looking like we're done. I see Perez is done. Gabrielle's done. Angelina's still looking, looks like. Tyler's done. Ariane's done.Enzie's done. Haley's done. Josiah is done. Karma's done. There we go. It looks like everyone's either almost done or completely done. Please make sure you're getting this done. All right. For those who sit on this side of the classroom, you guys have it very easy because you guys have this. This will be gone next week when we do testing and probably never come up because I'm going to forget to put them back up until next year. But the area is right here. Who on this side of the room can read the area for someone over there? Can read it? Tyler, can you read that?
Yeah. Well, I know the formula.
Oh, what is it?
Radius squared times pi.
Right. So in your notes somewhere, like either in the top by where you wrote I can, or above the circles you wrote, make sure you write this nice and big. Circle it because if you have this, it's everything for this lesson. Just make sure you have this. A equals pi. Weird pi, but whatever. Radius squared. Let me write that one more time, not so big, but A equals pi r squared. Area equals pi r squared. Say it with me. Area equals pi r squared. What does R stand for?
Radius.
I'm hearing it, but I want to see a strong sign of hand. Adriana? Great. Let's say it all together with the word radius. So I'm going to say it first, then you repeat after me. Area equals pi radius squared. Say it with me. Area equals pi radius squared. I think I forgot the word times in there, right? Gotta do it again now. So I'm going to say first, area equals pi times the radius squared. Say it with me. Area equals pi times the radius squared. Now, I want to review what does square mean. Because a lot of people I've even seen on, like 2 weeks ago, that some people still don't understand what square mean. Does square mean 6 times 2?
No.
So if I were to have 6 squared, is that 6 times 2 or 6 times 6?
6 times 6.
Aaron?
6 times 6.
Correct. Because if you do 6 times 2, you get 12. You do 6 times 6, that's 36. This is the right answer for square. So make sure you keep that in mind because that's all you're doing today. You're identifying the radius, squaring it, and multiplying by pi. It'll be a deduction, or you wait till you're done with your exit ticket, then it won't be. So you gotta keep that in mind. That should be in your notes, somewhere top, somewhere special. Circle it, star it, make sure you know it. Because all you need to do today is plug it in, you're good to go. I'm gonna erase it now. All right, so we got area equals pi r squared. We got, what's the radius here for A? What's the radius for A? What's the radius for A?
It's just a line.
Like, what is it? Josiah?
10?
Is it 10 or is it 20? Because I know when we do stuff, like this one is all the way 12. So would this mean that the radius is all the way across? So would it be 20? I'm hearing grunts of no. My head's shaking. But why is it 10? Why is it only 10?
Because the line is only. Because it's happening.
Lanesha?
There's a lot of stuff in the middle of the
Right. It goes into the middle because radius is half the diameter. So if you did 20, which is the diameter, you're doing it wrong. Because you only want the square because we're looking for this imaginary square right here. So I'm making sure that you understand, like when we're doing this, we're looking for 4 individual squares like this. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you're looking at a windowsill. But that's why you only want the radius, which in this case is 10. And what does it say use for pi? You got to make sure when you're doing your exit ticket or your homework, you got to read this underneath part because if you don't, you're going to get it wrong. right? What are you using for pi, Andriana? Right. So in your notes, first things first, rewrite the formula right next to the circle, like it does right here. Nice and neat. And when you show your work, the first thing I should see on the very first line is the formula. Carry on.
Is that the same thing?
Yeah, that's what it says, yeah, on the board. But now you need to write this part next to A or underneath A, because that's the first step. You gotta rewrite the formula every single time. You're gonna rewrite the formula every single time.
We gotta write down little square.
I'm gonna say you can. I'm not gonna make you because the formula is more important. But if this will help you remember what to do, go ahead. It's in your book. Copy it at any time. The next line in your work, you fill it in. So now you got A, 3.14. Why do they have 100 right here? Why do they have 100 right there, Jawan? Right, 10 times 10. They squared it already. And you see the label they have right there? Centimeters squared. Make sure you got that important. Because I want to see the label done through all out. Because that way in the end, you know what label you need. I know a lot of people go through the homework, go through the work, never including the labels, and then they get to their answer, put down the right answer, but they forgot about the label because they did so much work. Which stinks. I don't want to mark it wrong because of the label. So now you figure it out. Now all you got to do is solve. So you rewrote the equation, you filled it in. Now you just got to answer it. What's 3.14 times 100 centimeters squared? And Malik and Edwin, if you can't see, or I guess anyone in the back, if you need to stand up because of that podium, go ahead. Don't be afraid to stand up. What is 3.14 times 100? I don't know if you guys remember this from last year, but like if you multiply by 100, which way does the decimal go? Left or right?
I know that.
I know. I see the 4 people who usually answer and try to see someone else. Josiah's got it. He was pointing in the right direction. Anyone else? Ethan?
To the right.
It moves to the right, so what would your answer be?
314. And 7 square.
There you go. So your final answer would be 314 centimeters squared. So in your notes, I should see the circle and the U 3.14 pi. Then underneath it or to the right of it, so you know where it goes, I should see the formula again, everything filled in, and then the answer. Tyler.
Why do you add the square when you do that?
Why do you add the square part? Because what it's saying, when you usually find the area of something, it's saying, because it's going to be a lot bigger than anything else, just like how the room is a lot bigger when your head is up and not in your book. So when you do area, if we found the area, we would take this side of the room, we would count all the tiles on this side of the room, and count all the tiles going this way. Multiply them together, and it's not going to be exactly what it is. Now, if you took both of those and then write foot squared or unit squared, and then multiply them by itself, then you would find the actual space inside this room. Sorry, I'm lacking words to describe it. So when you have this, it's kind of shorthand. Because what is, Tyler, 314 squared? And what it is, do you want to do the math? Or would you rather just write 314 centimeters squared? Because think about this, you're on a job site. Andriana is a construction worker. She's running the project. She has to tell her employees, who is everyone in front of her, we need to have, would you rather say, what is 314 squared? Anyone know? For a payment?
No.
Perez?
314 square is.
5, 4,
I'm gonna take a guess.
3.
It's
Again, are you chewing on something? Is it just your 20?
No, this is gonna be 907.
Way more. Ariel?
98,596.
Correct. So with Andriana, I'm gonna keep that in front of me so I know. So Andriana, she's a construction worker. She's, she knows what she needs to do. She's gonna tell her employees how much space the living room needs to be. Would she rather say 98,586 feet? And then the guys are gonna be like, how do I get a tape measure long enough? Or does she just say 314 feet squared, and then they can just do the outside of it and then just fill in the inside? So Tyler, that's why. It's shorthand. And for construction workers, it's a lot easier because they don't want to be like measuring everything. They would just have to do the outside first, and then you just fill in the inside. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's a good question, why math is applicable to your life. And I know Andriana is going to probably run a construction site. Which, by the way, boys and girls, if you can be the guy running a construction site, you make a lot of money. Like a lot of
I
money.
know that
Now, if you're a worker, you don't make a lot. But if you are running it, you make a lot of money. All right, on to B. Use 22. All right, now we're going to use 22 and 7. So first things first, write down the formula again. Right next to B. Something going on? You need to talk? Okay. So first things first, and now we're going to go a little faster because I want to give you plenty of time to even start your homework. So A equals pi times the radius squared. First thing you do. Next step, who can remind the class what's the next step? After you write the formula, you got, remember last year I said plug it in, but.
Gotta multiply 2 times.
Well, you gotta fill it in
Yeah,
first.
you gotta fill it in.
Okay.
Then multiply. No, you gotta turn 22 over 7 into a decimal.
Nope. I would say this, boys and girls, always check. If the number you're multiplying by is divisible by 7, then you can just divide by 7 right away. A lot easier. Like they did here, and then you get 154 inches squared. Wow, that was really fast. I'm sorry. Now, what happens if the number across from you is not divisible by 7? Carry on.
Can divide myself. And what you will have to take on my part away.
Tyler? So when you do problems like this, what you should do is 22 times 49 divided by 7. And if it's not divisible by 7 right away, if none of these numbers are divisible by 7, multiply them out first, then divide by 7. It's going to be a pain in the butt sometimes, but that's just how it goes. Cedric, you can go now for a deduction or wait till after your exit ticket. So multiply first, then divide by 7, or check if it's divisible by 7 because that'll save you some time. Any questions for us?
And we gotta do 22 over 7 as the decimal.
You can. What is 22 over 7 as a decimal?
I don't know, I was just asking.
It'll be around 3.14 or something. I would suggest keeping it as a fraction because my answers are based off the fraction and you'll get whole numbers with your answers. If you decide to change it into a decimal, you're going to get the full decimal number of pi, which will give you not a whole number, it'll give you a really long decimal. And like I said, the answers I have are whole numbers. Capiche? So don't turn that into a decimal. If you really wanted to, it could be, you have to change it to 3.14, which is what 2.7 is if you round. Okay? Last but not least, since the diameter C is 12 feet, what do you have to do? How do you find the radius? The last two were super easy because they gave you the radius. How do you find the radius if the diameter is 12 feet? Man, I need to stand over here. I'm gonna have you stand up because you just missed all of that. Okay, so nope, just push your chair to the side and stand up. So how do you find the radius if you have 12 feet as the diameter? Here, Ellie? Divided by 2, so what would the radius be?
6.
It would be 6. So, first things first, you write down the formula again. You fill it in, because what is 6 times 6?
36.
Josiah?
36.
All right, and then 36 times pi. You will write your answer as just simply 36 pi feet squared.
That's our answer?
You will not have C on your exit ticket. You will have A and B a lot on your exit ticket. But because if you show this to a mathematician, they understand that this will be something astronomical. Because pi net is never ending. Has anyone found the ending of pi? I don't think so.
No.
Not yet, anyway. Any questions? Because remember, I'm not going to help you too much on your exit ticket. If you really, really need help, or I see you doing absolutely nothing, I'll probably come around and say something. But I want you to try to do this on your own. You have your notes, you got your math book. The top part of the exit ticket tells you how to do everything. In fact, this one's so useful, it tells you the areas of other shapes. So I might, if I were you, I would cut that out. Like when you get it back, cut it off and put it in your math book to keep forever. But, Ethan?
Are you allowed to use your notes in the test?
No, but if you had a note card, like if you have a note card, like a bookmark in your math book and you wrote stuff on it. So you can't have like a full sheet of paper, but if you have like a note card, I'll let it go. Anyway, if you can confidently say, I can determine the area of a circle, raise your pencil above your head. If you still are confused,